This is the kind of power station that makes an outage feel a lot less dramatic. I have been using it around the house and on short trips, and the biggest thing I notice is how quickly it goes from sitting there doing nothing to actually keeping my essentials running without me babysitting it. This is the Jackery Solar Generator 1000 version 2, and it sits in that category of portable power stations that can handle real appliances, not just phones and cameras. If you are the kind of person who camps, road trips, works out of a vehicle, or you just want a backup option for storms and surprise blackouts, this one makes sense. I also think it fits people who do not want to become an energy expert just to keep a refrigerator cold for a few hours. I am very much in that camp. I want something I can trust, that I can understand at a glance, and that I can move when I need to. Right away, the physical design feels very Jackery. The orange accents are hard to miss, but what I care about more is that the whole unit is compact and the handle folds down into the top. That seems like a small detail, but it changes how it lives in a closet, in the trunk, or next to a desk. When the handle is folded, it is easier to stack around other gear, and it does not snag on things. When I lift it, the rubber grip is comfortable, and it does not feel like it is going to slip out of my hand. The weight is noticeable. It is about 23.8 pounds, and I feel that when I am carrying it one-handed across the house. For quick moves, like from a shelf to a countertop, or from my garage to the back of my car, it is totally manageable. For longer walks, I personally would rather carry it with two hands or take breaks. Setup was refreshingly uneventful, which is a compliment. I pulled it out, checked the ports, turned it on, and it basically just made sense. I did not have to assemble anything complicated. The screen gives me the info I actually want, like how much power is going in, how much is going out, and how much battery I have left. When I am using a power station, I do not want to guess. I want instant feedback, and this gives me that. Charging is one of the strongest parts of living with this unit. Using the wall charger, I tested the emergency fast charging mode through the Jackery app, and it went from empty to full in about 1 hour. That is the kind of thing that changes how you plan. If I realize a storm is coming and I forgot to top it off, I can fix that fast. Most of the time, I do not need it to charge that aggressively, so I use the normal mode. In my use, it is around 1 hour and 40 minutes to fill up, and I like that option because it feels more sensible for long-term battery health. The Jackery app surprised me, in a good way. Normally, I treat power station apps like a bonus that I will never open. Here, I actually used it. I can switch between charging modes, check battery percentage, and see live input and output power. It connects over Bluetooth and over wireless internet, which matters because Bluetooth is convenient when I am nearby, and wireless internet is useful when I am in another room, and I just want to check whether the refrigerator is still pulling a steady load. The app did not feel laggy in my experience, and it did not take a bunch of fiddling to get it paired. Port selection is practical, and I ended up using most of it. I have used the alternating current outlets for household gear, the 100-watt Universal Serial Bus Type C port for my laptop, and the Universal Serial Bus Type A ports for smaller stuff like a phone and a speaker. There is also a car-style direct current outlet, which is helpful if you already have accessories that expect that plug. The main thing is that I did not feel boxed in. When I set up a little charging station on a table, I could run my laptop and charge a couple of smaller devices at the same time without juggling adapters. In terms of output, what matters is whether it can handle the appliances you actually care about. This unit delivers 1,500 watts of continuous alternating current power, and it can handle surges up to 3,000 watts. In real life, that translates to me being comfortable plugging in small kitchen appliances, a coffee maker, chargers, lights, and even some tools, as long as I am not trying to run a whole workshop at once. During a power outage, I ran my refrigerator along with a couple of lights, and it did not act stressed. The output stayed stable, and I did not see weird dropouts or the unit suddenly shutting down. I also tried a more desk-focused setup with a MacBook Pro, a gaming laptop, and a Bluetooth speaker charging at the same time. It handled that easily, and the battery drain felt predictable. Solar charging is another part of why I like this system, because it gives me options. I use the SolarSaga 200-watt panel that pairs with it. The panel folds out like a book, and it is easy to carry. I have dealt with foldable panels that never want to stay closed, and this one uses built-in magnets that keep it neatly packed. That sounds minor, but it reduces the annoyance factor, especially if you are packing up quickly or the wind picks up. On a clear sunny day, I saw around 182 watts of solar input. I did not hit the full advertised 200, but that is normal in real use because the sun angle, temperature, and how perfectly you aim the panel all matter. On a gloomy day with heavy cloud cover, the input dropped hard, down around 10 to 15 watts. That is not the panel being broken, that is just solar reality. When the sun is not cooperating, solar becomes more of a trickle than a refill. On good days, though, it is genuinely useful, and if you add more panels, you can speed up charging while still keeping the whole setup portable. One feature I ended up appreciating more than I expected is the built-in light. It has low, high, and strobe modes. I used the low mode around a campsite table and inside a tent, and it was enough to get organized without needing to hold a flashlight in my teeth. It is not a lantern replacement for lighting up a whole area, but as an emergency light, it is actually convenient. Battery longevity is also a real consideration with something like this, because nobody wants a power station that feels tired after a couple of years. This uses lithium iron phosphate battery chemistry, and it is rated for 4,000 charge cycles while still retaining more than 70% capacity. Translated into normal life, if someone charged and used it every day, that can be around 10 years of use before it drops to that level. I do not cycle it daily, so I expect it to last longer in my case. That kind of long-term durability matters if you are buying it for emergency readiness. I did have a couple of small complaints. The weight is fine for short carries, but I would not want to hike with it. Also, compared to some earlier Jackery models, solar charging speed can feel a bit reduced depending on how your older setup was configured. So if you are upgrading and you are very solar focused, that is something to pay attention to. None of that broke the experience for me, but it is worth saying out loud. One of my favorite real use cases has been a simple home outage setup. I keep it charged, and when the power goes out, I wheel my priorities into place. Refrigerator, a lamp, phone charging, and then maybe a laptop if I need to get work done. The fact that it can be topped up quickly from the wall when power returns also means I can reset for the next outage without waiting all day. For travel, I like it as a quiet power source. No fumes, no engine noise, and I can charge everything at once without hunting for outlets. Overall, the Jackery Solar Generator 1000 version 2 feels like a mature, practical portable power station that is easy to live with. It is not trying to be flashy. It is trying to be dependable. I think it is a strong choice if you want a reliable backup for home essentials, or a flexible power source for camping and road trips, especially if you like the idea of solar charging as an option. If you need something ultra-light for long carries, I would look at smaller units. If you want something that can run bigger loads for longer, you would move up to a larger capacity class. But for the balance of portability, fast charging, and real appliance support, this one has worked well for me. If you have questions about what I ran on it or you want me to test a specific device, leave a comment. And if this video helped, subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next review. Thank you for watching.